want to talk about this with some of you African-American ladies out there in our community. And I love you because you're my people, okay? My mother's African-American, my grandmother's African-American. But the way that some of you sisters are carrying out on this damn reality, it's a shame, okay?
What's up, fam, and welcome back to Authentic Alphas for another conversation with your boy, Ayindei. And today, I want to talk about the hypocrisy when it comes to the conversation about black men opting out of dating black women. And I think this topic is way too controversial. I think that a fair discussion is not being had. I think too many brothers, including myself, is getting way too much negative slack and feedback just for simply being honest.
But let me say this, and I'm not even speaking for Fresh and Fit, but I'm gonna assume something. When they are talking about, I don't date the brown, when they are talking about, I don't date the Keishas and stuff like that, we're gonna be real today and say that some of the ladies you're talking about is Monique Slaughter. And I'm gonna tell you why. Monique Slaughter, with her thuggo behind, went to a party at Cardi B's birthday party, right? Now imagine that you're going to a birthday party for somebody else. Your broke ass really shouldn't be there in the first place, but you know, you're invited. How do you show your appreciation being invited to such an event? You go there and start hitting people. Felix, give me like some ass whooping sound effects in the background. You start jumping on folks. This is what you do, okay? You go to the party like Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
I got about 10 things that I think is extremely hypocritical about the state of mind of the people that have a problem with brown men saying that they're not getting good results with brown women, right? Now, obviously, it's not all. Of course, there are some classy sisters out there, but there are few, and by far, they're hard to come by.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because when people like Fresh and Fit talk about they don't date sisters, okay, and they say that they don't want to talk about dating brown and all this. Monique Slaughter was one of the people that was hating on Fresh and Fit when it happened. All in the shade room comment sections and all this. She couldn't stand them.
If these things weren't true, there wouldn't be so many brothers saying it, which leads me to an interesting phenomenon, which is so many people who normally do not agree with what Fresh and Fit say or do seem to not disagree with them on this topic, me being one of them. I also noticed O'Shea, Duke Jackson, seems to not disagree with these boys. Neither does my boy from Duke and Don. Neither does Tommy Sotomayor. So it's like, why do so many guys have the same thing to say? And you would seem like it was the few, but really what it is that it's few with a microphone.
The prejudice, this kind of prejudice towards our own people, right? Even if we're all black and whatnot, there will always be women like this who try to differentiate their skin color, right? Try to make themselves look like they're not black. I mean, anyone who calls themselves Asian doll or Asian doll, like you're someone who's not trying to be, and granted, it's not saying that, just because you call yourself Asian doll, or let's say if I call myself white doll, doesn't mean I'm trying to be a white man. But there's clearly evidence and tweets of this woman that goes back, if you go to her tweets feed, of her basically just bitching about like how she has Asian in her genes and all these different things, and I'm mixed with this. Anything that you want to do besides be black, which is one thing I always found fascinating. Why is it that black people, are the same ones? Like, I'm not saying all black people, but most black people are the same ones that don't want to be black when it comes down to it, especially most black women. Like, what's going on?
Western world, women are allowed to say whatever they want about men, and men aren't even allowed to say the truth about women. That's an interesting disparity. But anyway, I want to go through my 10 things. Many of you will agree, mostly in silence, because a lot of y'all don't even have the balls to say this shit out loud, but I do. So, number one that I find interesting is that what I just said. Women are allowed to, well, we're talking about black women here. So black women are allowed to openly criticize and bash black men, yet they can't stand or accept black men simply voicing their opinion about them, should that opinion be negative. I find that hypocritical.
Acting on here. And some of you ladies have professional degrees, college educated.
Number two, black women claim to be the most educated and independent, yet they have the lowest net worth. Okay, am I bashing black women now, or is that what the data shows? It's what the data shows.
Your ass is pregnant right now. You're pregnant, okay? So you can risk your baby being damaged if you don't care. You out there just throwing blows and all type of stuff.
Third, around 70%, right? Because if I say 70%, then you find some other study, now you're gonna try to discredit me because you read a study that said something different. So we'll do it like this. All the studies that you will find on single motherhood in the black community is gonna put you somewhere around 60 to 80%. Listen, bro, any way that it's over 20, that's a problem. Any way that children are being born out of wedlock over 20, 25% in any community, that is a problem, because we know for a fact that fatherless children do not perform as well. That's a fact. It's not bashing single moms. It's just a reality. Children do better when they have both parents in the household, and they do better if that single parent is a single father over a single mother. So it goes in that order. The best scenario is both parents in the house. The second best scenario is a single father. And then the third is a single mom. And then the worst is that kid being an orphan. So that means single moms are just one step above being a fucking orphan.
Listen to this. And you're pregnant with a girl by the name of Dior. I don't know why y'all always name y'all kids after perfumes in Asian countries. Like you got Asian Doll, you got Black China, and a lot of you African American women, you name your kids after cars, Lexus, Porsche. Now we naming our kids after perfumes. Dior. What's next, Gucci?
Single moms are just one step above being a fucking orphan. Wow. Anyway, so you got anywhere between 60 to 80% of black children being born to single moms. And black moms tend to keep their children away from their fathers. Again, much like most single moms, but we're talking about the black community here, right? So let's stay on topic. Now, they habitually put their children in unfavorable situations, and black women are aborting the most babies. Right? Again, nobody's bashing single moms. I'm just simply stating the facts, man. Okay? I'm not a woman. I'm not aborting any babies. Okay? But when it comes to abortions, black women are aborting the most babies. Now, the part that I find hypocritical about that is that these are the same women that are saying black men are the worst fathers, they're terrible fathers, and they're abandoning their children. I don't know, man. I don't know. Choosing to have children out of wedlock, that's a mother's choice. So I don't know how you're blaming this one, the men. I don't know, man. For me, it just doesn't make sense. If women are the gatekeepers to reproduction, I just don't see how we're blaming the single mom thing on men because it takes two to make a baby. Men are just going to try to get sex however they can. It's kind of the women's responsibility who they choose to procreate with. But I'm sure you guys are going to find some reason why it's men's fault, right?
Nonsense. Matter of fact, Asian Doll, let's just even move her aside for a second. She's not the first one that I've seen do this type of nonsense. There are plenty of black women, brown-skinned women, right? Let me tell you this. To society, you're all black. So this whole thing with brown skin, light skin, dark skin, all that, you're all black. So that make it make sense to me.
Because I've been talking to brothers ever since I've been talking. And my entire adult life, more and more brothers are saying this in private, in the barbershop. This shit gets said often. And it's funny because the guys that have all this pushback for it, all the brothers that be white knighting out here and, love our black queens and all this other pandering ass bullshit. You never seem to run into these guys in real life. I find that real interesting. When you look in the comments is always full of these pro-black guys talking about, don't say anything negative about black women. Why are you bashing black women? It's like, come on, man, stop. First of all, stop. Let's use words, you know what I mean, for what the definition actually means. Let's use words correctly, all right? There's a difference between bashing and just simply telling the truth. I'm yet to be calling black women names. I'm yet to be making fun of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just stating observable reality. Not only my experience, but experience of plenty of guys that I've spoken to. Plenty of guys. And another thing that I noticed is you have a large demographic of so-called black guys that don't have a base of comparison. They don't have a base of reference, but they still will agree that they're having extreme difficulty dealing with and interacting with black women, whether they be romantically, whether it be professionally, or be in their family. But they can't necessarily make the comparison between dating black women and non-black women simply because they haven't dated any non-black women.
This is the reason why I don't live nowhere around y'all now, okay? I'm not bragging, I make entirely too much money now, and I don't make as much as they do, but I will not be involved with y'all Negro foolishness. I'm tired. I lived around y'all for 34 years of this foolishness over in the black community. I'm not gonna do it no more. I'm tired of y'all. I'm so sick of y'all. Some of y'all, how y'all act, I can't do it no more. I'm too old. It'll give me a heart attack.
All right, so 4. Black women openly and publicly hate black men, yet they claim black men hate their mother. So I find that kind of strange that black women are openly saying they hate black men, yet when black men say, all right, cool, I'll just try some other options, all of a sudden they hate their mother. How do you make that connection? We're actually being told that black women hate us, but if we date someone who doesn't say they hate us, that means we hate our mother. That's just weird math to me. That math just doesn't add up, so I find it hypocritical.
Now, understand, there is fast living, there's the city girl, city boy lifestyle, and you know what? Kudos, do what you do, enjoy all that. But when it's actually time to invest, men of value invest in women who invest in them first. See, women today have been told that a man is supposed to invest in you, and then when you're comfortable, when you feel like it, when he's proved himself to you, then you invest. Not going to work, ladies.
Number 5. Black women are the least likely to support a black man before he becomes successful. Yet they claim that when black men level up, they leave them or leave the community for non-black women. Now, again, I'm not basing this on my toenails. I'm not basing this on only my experiences. I'm basing this on plenty of things that have been written, plenty of literature, plenty of guys writing books, plenty of guys talking openly amongst each other, and many black men feel that black women do not notice them, recognize them, support them, encourage them, inspire them, or anything like that. But then after they're already successful, then they get all kind of negative feedback for dating the women that were interested in them before they became successful. I'm sorry, I find that a little hypocritical. I'm just saying. So you want okay, so you don't want to be with black men before they're successful, but then you're upset that they choose someone else when they are successful. Okay, that's hypocritical. They don't owe you anything. Black men don't owe you anything if you weren't there when they were in the struggle trying to build themselves up. I mean, that should kind of be common sense.
The Bible says when you find a wife, you find a good thing, which is why black men, it's hard to find that good thing for many of us, right? Because there's very few ladies like it used to be, but they're out there.
Number 6 I have here is, so black women are the least married on the planet. Again, that's a fact. You're not going to find a study that says anything else in the Western world. That's no secret. Black women are the least married demographic, right? But they claim that black men are the problem in their relationships. So black women blame the unsuccess or their unsuccessful relationships. They blame it on black men. But what I'm trying to say is black men are marrying at a higher rate than black women. So that simply means that how could black men be the main problem there if they're able to go marry elsewhere? If black men were the problem in the relationships, the black men would be the ones that would be the least married. I don't know. I just find that a little hypocritical. It just doesn't add up, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. You don't conduct yourself as a person that's foolish, and then yet you want to go ahead and get respected. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, just like black men, when you go out there in the world, you represent the African American female brand. Okay? Whenever I go somewhere, I go to another country, I go to Africa, I go to Uganda, I go to Poland, I go to Italy, wherever I go, I'm representing my people and my gender. So no matter what I say, I represent the African American male brand wherever I go, okay? I don't get to be able to say, oh, well, you know, I want to take the day off. No, I have to represent every day. And it's going to always be problems, but it's how you handle things.
7, black women are very supportive of other black women swirling. Like that's like high fives. Go sister, you go girl. So black women don't negatively criticize black women swirling, but they demonize black men dating and marrying outside, especially when it's white women. But when black women swirl, it's almost always white men. So it's usually white men that black women swirl with, but nothing pisses black women off more than black men marrying white women. So again, I just find it a little hypocritical, man. I'm just saying, like I would expect on that one for black women to be just as upset about black women dating non-black men. I don't know, maybe I guess they hate their daddy. Would that make sense? If black men marrying white women equals they hate their mom, then wouldn't black women dating white men equal they hate their dad? I like my math to make sense.
And if you're a mother, if you're a woman, you already a single mom already, you're about to get pregnant by somebody else, and you already have broken down talking about you have all these problems and all this stuff, I can see it. And the problem with you guys is, how do y'all even deal with stuff like this? This lady been unstable all her life, and this is ridiculous.
All right, so let's see. I got number 8 here. So culturally, black women have no respect for black men. And again, I would love to see how stupid and ignorant the negative comments I'm going to get is, because I know they can't be logic-based. Nobody's bringing a logical argument against these things that are being said. Like, it's no secret that black women do not respect black men, like on a whole. Like, that I can say generally speaking. I don't even have to sit here and say, well, not all. No. Like, across the board, they have a lack of respect for black men just simply for being black. And I've seen it with men that are successful, men that are educated, well, they carry themselves well, whatever. It's like, just you being a black man, they're already like, okay, but anyway, let me point out what I think is hypocritical about that. So they don't respect black men just simply for being black men, yet they expect respect just simply for being black women. They want to be told that they're queens and, you know, they're all of this just because they're black females. Just because they're black females, they're supposed to be respected in the community. Oh, you're supposed to respect black women. You're supposed to love black women. Why are we supposed to just do these things if they're not deserved and they're not being reciprocated? Like, why is that the case? Again, I want my math to make sense. So if black men are supposed to respect black women just simply for being black women, right? Okay. Then you would think that would go both ways. Then they would respect black men just simply for being black men. Now, I'm going to tell you why I find that very, very interesting as a so-called black man. Because what I've noticed about black men in America, and even in other Western countries, is that we have this unspoken respect for each other. And I know you brothers know what I'm talking about. When you just walk past another brother in public, and you don't know him, he doesn't know you, but you give each other the... Where does that come from? And nobody has to teach it to you. There's no precursor to it. It's just, I know what he's going through just because he's a black man. Like, just for him to be the age that he is and be alive, I know he's a survivor. So there's some type of mutual respect that's just literally granted, right? But you don't get it from black women, though. And black women give it to each other, but they don't give it to black men. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'm too observant.
But these are the same women out there that will you want folks to respect who you are, but then you go out there and you act a fool. You make it bad for the women out there who are real ladies in the black community. For the women out there who are really classy in the black community. You make it bad for them. And you know what? For those ladies, for what it's worth, it's not fair to y'all. because this person want to go ahead and act an ass.
Number 9. Now this has always irritated me, and it just kind of still feeds off of the same hypocrisy of telling black men that they hate themselves and they hate their mama if they date non-black women. Yet, ironically or hypocritically, black women are constantly doing things to their appearance that would make them appear not to be black. They're notorious for having fake hair. They're notorious for having the hair of women of other cultures. They'll wear contacts. I mean, I don't know how often I see black guys wearing contacts, but I see a lot of black women wearing blue and green contacts and whatnot. I don't see black guys wearing weave and fake hair and perming their hair and trying to make their hair look like anything other than a black man's hair. But it's interesting to me that black women will wear like white woman's hair, but then they'll be upset that a black guy dates a white woman. I'm so confused. So you're allowed to think that white people's hair is more attractive, but a black man can't think that a white woman is more attractive. Black women can bleach their skin, but then a black man can't find a lighter skinned woman attractive. So black women can wear contacts to have lighter eyes, but a black man cannot be attracted to a woman that has lighter eyes. Nobody can tell me that this is anything other than hypocritical. This is hypocritical bullshit, because black women have more of an issue with their appearance than black men do. But every time this discussion is had, black women try to reduce it to a physical thing. And it's not a physical thing. It's an attitude thing. It's a mental thing. It's a verbal thing. It's the shit that black women do, say, and think, which turns off a lot of black men that have options. It's not the color of their skin. It's not their natural hair. In fact, when you talk to black men, they almost always tell you they prefer for black women to have their hair natural, to wear their hair natural. But yet black women choose to ignore what black men want and think and feel and just do what they want, think, and feel. Again, hypocrisy if you want those same men to be attracted to you and want to be in relationships with you. It might kind of matter what the fuck they think. But of course, no. What men think doesn't matter to women. No. All that matters is what women think, right?
So if you don't want to do the right thing, don't complain about a negative perception about you when you keep making it permissible for folks to judge the people.
All right, let's just get to the last one here. Before I even get to the last one, so many black men are pointing out this, naming their children all these non-black names and naming themselves all these non-black names. But yet they're accusing black men of being the ones that are running away from their blackness or hating their blackness. But yet black women, anything that they can alter or change to not be black, they're taking advantage of that. But yet black men are the ones that have an issue with being black. Most of the black men that I see, have met, know, are so much in their, comfortable with their appearance. I haven't even heard of too many guys bleaching their skin. Don't get me wrong. I know in Jamaica there are dudes bleaching their skin or whatever, but it's nowhere near as widespread as it is in the female demographic. And I don't see too many black guys altering their hair to look like anything besides black. I don't see them dressing like anything besides black. So who is really trying to change their appearance here? Black men or black women?
But a woman sits there and tells you, no, you don't prefer black women, all right? You prefer light-skinned women because you find them more attractive than us.
Oh, hell no.
The fuck are you talking about, lady? The fuck are you talking about? It seems like what you're talking about is projection. What you're doing is projecting what your preference or what you think my preference is on me versus what I actually want. And we see that all throughout media right now, where we see a lot of women, to be fair, not just black women, but women who project their preferences through this lens of colorism on other men, not realizing that men of the same race will overwhelmingly want to be with y'all if y'all just be natural, if y'all just put your hair the way y'all need to wear it, if y'all just, adhere to your beauty standards, right? If you talk to them, they always say that guys want the Eurocentric, the European beauty standards, the European model, the European this and that. And it's like, who is creating these standards?
When black women date outside of their race, they're the ones acclimating to that culture. Notice the black women that date white guys, a lot of times they talk and try to act like white women. But when black guys date non-black women, they bring her into our culture. She listening to hip hop. She, trying to act and behave more like a black girl. You see what I'm saying? The women don't change us, we change them. So that whole like traitor abandoning your culture thing, I don't know, man. It's not really sticking to my ribs. And then you're telling me that I hate being black because I don't subscribe to that title? Do I look like I have a problem appearing to be a black guy? Is my hair dreads, really? Dreads? That's the guy that hates being black? My name is African, for God's sakes. My name is Nigerian, okay? And I have dreads. How am I trying to not be... Let me not even frustrate myself. It's too late. Anyway, 10. Okay, so yeah, black women are the most difficult to deal with in relationships. All women nowadays in the Western world are extremely difficult to deal with, but black women by far are more difficult. Is that bashing them? With the attitudes that they have, is that bashing them? And then the feedback that I'm gonna get in the comments is not gonna be ladylike. The rebuttals that I get aren't gonna be ladylike. They're not gonna be attractive, right? They're not gonna be an honest dialogue, right? Not at all. So, is that who you want to be in a relationship with? Anyway, so they're the most difficult in relationships, yet they complain that black men choose to date more cooperative women. So you're upset that black men that have options don't want to struggle and suffer and be miserable, constantly dealing with a woman that's not cooperative, that wants to challenge him, that wants to fight, that wants to argue, that wants to compete with him. Again, it doesn't make sense to me, man. It seems really hypocritical. So that's all I'm saying, guys. So anyway, I'm sure I pissed a lot of you guys off, you know what I mean? But I'm sure a lot of you guys can also relate and agree with me. So like I said, I'm going to keep kicking it like it is. You know, I'm sorry for all the sisters that don't want to hear it. But then again, I have a men's channel and I'm not here to cater to women. I'm just not. Like, I really don't give a fuck about feelings, man. I'm going to deal with the facts, all right? So all of the fellas out there that feel the same, that agree with me, I know a lot of my friends have been going through it. And I'm going to tell you the same thing that I tell them. Just exercise your options, man. That's all I'm saying. This has nothing to do with hate. Has nothing to do with negativity. Has nothing to do with trying to bash anybody or disenfranchise anybody. And it ain't about trying to convince black men to abandon black women. I'm simply saying, if you're having a hard time, okay, exercise your options, right? My cousins that are married to black women are happy, and I'm happy for them. I'm so happy. Like, I thank God that I hooked my cousin up with a black chick in Houston. They've been happily married ever since. They got 2 beautiful kids. I'm so happy. You see what I'm saying? So, brothers, if you find one, lock her down, bro. If she's submissive, if she's feminine 24/7, none of this conditional femininity that black women are talking about nowadays. You know, none of this when I feel like it or when I agree with him. If she's 100% feminine and she's always cooperative, she's always submissive, she's playing a role, she's wife material.
It seems like y'all have a problem with being black. That's what it seems like. It seems like y'all have a problem with being the race that you are. You guys have a problem being comfortable in your own goddamn skin. So you throw this little colorism stuff around, not realizing that is a concept that y'all made up. Because black men want to be with black women.
So you have like 3 schools, you know. From what I can see, you have like 3 groups of black men on this topic. You have black men that love black women, only date black women, but they will admit that it's a struggle. Then you'll have men who don't date black women because they've dated out and they just never dealt with it again. They just stay dealing with something that's different, right? And then you have this other group of black men that's just swearing up and down that they're the best thing in the world, and that, you know, it's black women or nothing. And I don't see a problem with any of those groups. I think all 3 of those groups have the right to do what works for them and believe what they want to believe. With that being said, nobody should be trying to silence any one of those groups. So if you want to pander to women of any color, because every race or every culture has their they're simp daddies. You know what I'm saying? These dudes that's just bootlicking women all day long. It's, you know, everything that they siding with chicks, which is, to me, is ridiculous because those chicks are not going to support you. Like, where's the women that are supporting any group of men? Where are the white women supporting white men? Where are the black women that's so pro black men? Like, where are the women that give a damn about men at all? So I think that's kind of ridiculous. But if that's what they want to do, you know, do that. You know what I mean? But same thing for the guys that are having difficulty with them. I say all the time, why don't you just try something different? Nobody's trying to convince anybody to not date black women. I just simply say, why don't you try your options? I would say the same thing if I was talking about cars. I would say the same thing if I'm talking about picking a city to relocate to, picking another job. Try your options, bro. Maybe something else will work better for you. It's just that simple. But for the guys who do exercise their options, why are they unanimously saying that they're having a better experience elsewhere? I wish that weren't the case, but it is, right? So, there's something else that I was going to say I find interesting, but I'm really sleepy right now. What I was going to say is that men not being allowed to say anything about black women isn't even a black thing or a cultural thing. Men aren't allowed to criticize women at all. So it's not even like I'm saying, oh, you know, you can't criticize black women. You can't criticize any women. You know what I'm saying? You're not allowed to say the truth about any women. It's a problem. But yet all women in the Western world are allowed to criticize their men openly. Okay? So that within itself is an issue, and it's not even a cultural issue, like I said. You know what I'm saying? It's a Western
Guys who
issue.
say they don't want to date black women. You get offended, Moniz, when they say they don't want to date by somebody like you. But then you take your ass out there and act just like who they're talking about. How do you explain that?
Because this is what happens, guys. I'm going to make it real simple for you guys. I'm going to make it real simple for everybody. Since everybody's making this so complicated and throwing all these accusations around, I'll make it real simple. In the black community, right, which is a matriarchy, okay, the women are raised to be strong and independent. Independent of what you ask? Independent of a man. Okay? That's why their attitude is, I'm educated. I got my own this. I got my own that. I don't need no man. No man gonna tell me what to do, which I find very interesting because when they wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning to go to work, they go and do what they're told by a man that's a stranger. But they refuse to listen to a man that happens to be black. That's their boyfriend or their husband or their brother or their uncle or their cousin or any black man, unless he's a homosexual black man, in which case now they listen to him. Now his advice is the gospel, right? But if he's a heterosexual black man, then nothing he has to say matters. Why that is? That's how their mothers and aunties and grandmas are raising them. Okay? So that's how they're being raised in the black home in the Western world. Now, compare that to non-black women. Okay? Now, I'm not worshiping or glorifying white women because that's what you low IQ people are going to say. The West is not raising white women to be wives anymore either. Okay? Which is why Kevin Samuels was mentioning that, hey, really the competition, I'm not going to use the word enemy because everybody gets triggered with that, but the competition for black women is really Latin women because Latin women always have and still are being raised to be wives. That's like, there's like a big emphasis on that as they're being raised. And they also are more likely to have the father in the household.
I want to ask that question. Ladies, why do you think women from other ethnicities, other cultures, it's easier for them to step out? Now we're talking about Hispanic women. We're not talking about people who have a lot of money. As far as the population, black men make more than Hispanic men. They're at the bottom of the economic totem pole, but yet Hispanic men get an overperformance. So we can't say it's because of money and education. What about China? Same thing. China has just now come into its economic power, but a large portion of China is still country. Eastern Europe, outside of Russia. What's the difference? What you notice is there's a family structure and there's patriarchy.
So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just hit you with a little bit of story time, right? I got the fireplace in the back. Why not? The mood is set, okay? And not that my experiences matter, right? Because I'm a man, so who cares what I have to say? But something I noticed at a very early age was that whenever I would go over a black girl's house, or I would try to go, see a black chick or whatever, there was almost never, well, honestly, there was never a father there. I'm just trying to act as if, it's not all. So I'm over here trying to be, respectful and trying to be a little bit reasonable and say majority. But in my personal experience, like, none of the black chicks that I knew or was interested in had a father at home, right? And when you would go over there, the attitude that you would get from the mother, wow. And there might even be a grandmother or auntie around. And it was just attitude, right? Never inviting, never respectful, never encouraging. And there was never like no invited to dinner. There wasn't never, offer something to drink, nothing, no hospitality, nothing, right? Now, here's the thing. A lot of black guys, a lot of black boys or whatever think that's normal because that's how they grow up too. So they think that's just normal. It's not normal. That's not normal at all. There should be a father there, number one. Number two, there should be some hospitality, and the women should be feminine. They should be offering drinks. They should be cooking and cleaning and whatever. And I know that's slavery nowadays, right? That's oppression nowadays, right? But the father still well, what am I saying? There's no father there. Anyway, now let's contrast that. Let's compare that. So I remember my first Spanish girlfriend, right? Her name was Maria. Oddly enough, right? How stereotypical. So I remember going to Maria's house, and I remember being nervous. I remember being uncomfortable. I remember thinking these people aren't going to like me. These people aren't going to accept me. At the time, Allen Iverson was playing basketball for the for Philadelphia, so he had the cornrows or whatever. That was really popular at the time. I had long cornrows because I started a little early. I started before it was popular, but once Iverson got into the league, then it was something it was popularized. So unlike everyone else, my braids were already long. And I remember going to Maria's house, and she lived with her mother and her father. The mother answered the door, invited me in. The father was being somewhat standoffish, but I was still, welcomed in. The mother asked me if I was hungry. She told me Maria was getting ready. I was taking her to the movies. I was only 17 at the time. And I remember they had Malta, which is my favorite. It's a Latin drink, but I love Malta, right? They had the Goya Malta. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. So she was like, take a seat. And she was like, are you hungry or whatever? And I remember the mom being very hospitable to me. And she served me. And the father started speaking to me in Spanish. And I was only able to keep up with the dialogue, but so much because my Spanish was limited. And the moment he realized I didn't speak Spanish fluently, his demeanor changed because he assumed I was Dominican. He thought I was Dominican. A lot of people mistaked me for Dominican when I was a teenager because of the braids. And where I lived in New York, people were either black, Dominican, or Puerto Rican. That was it. So when he said, yo, you don't speak Spanish. And I was like, oh, no. I don't speak Spanish, papi. He's like, where are you from? And I told him I was Jamaican. He's like, oh, yeah, Jamaican. So I was like, yeah. He's like, okay. He's like, where you know my daughter from? And I'm like, yo, I go to school, your daughter. He's like, oh, you go to school? Okay. So he's asking me, like, how are my grades and all those kind of things. And I was thinking to myself, wow, this is so different because I'm used to trying to mess with black girls and you never get that. But right there, the father is screening me. Now, this is important because this is what's not happening in the black home these days. Hence, all of the children being born out of wedlock. Because number one, nobody's properly vetting these Pookies and Ray Rays. That's number one. And number two, there's nobody to be accountable to. There's nobody to answer to. The fact that father is involved, please believe I was going to be on my best behavior with Maria now because I got to bring her back. So Maria finally comes out and she kind of she tells her father in Spanish to basically leave me alone. And I wasn't able to really finish my food too much, but the mother was really, really nice to me and was smiling and, saying you guys have a good time and everything like that. And the point is the gender roles were there, everything was there. And you could already see that she was being raised to be a wife. Bro, I was 17. This girl was 16. And already, the groundwork is being laid. Now, you tell me if that's is or isn't going to make a huge difference in the mentality of these women when compared. All right? So that's just what it is. And from that point on, I pretty much dated like Spanish girls, like Latin girls, until I started dating white girls. And then just I was able to get access to variety in general, like whatever, Asian girls, whatever I saw that I liked. But I noticed that upbringing always made a huge difference in the way that the females interacted with the guys that they dated, right? There was already sort of like a ground level of respect there. Whereas the girls who are raised without fathers, regardless of color, okay, regardless of race, the women that were raised without fathers, they have little to no respect for guys, period. Okay? And it's not like a respect that's given and then it's lost if the guy screws it up. No, it's a respect that was just never fucking there. All right? So I say all of this as to say, I told that story just simply to say that this is the origins of what manifests the issues that we deal with as adults. If you guys got better things to do in life rather than deal with a woman's crap, choose wisely, and explore your options. And if you can find quality black women, bro, I'm all for it. Me, myself, I tell guys all the time, when I really, really want that, I go to where I know it's at. I either go to Atlanta. I love a lot of the black women in Atlanta. Or I just look for the darker skinned women in other countries. And Dominican girls are always a good look. Panamanian girls are always a good look. I've had a couple Haitian girls that had my heart. There was a Haitian chick, Maya. Man, I was so in love with this one chick. She was educated, well spoken, respectful. The sex was amazing, all that stuff. The reason why it didn't work out, her mother hated me. Her mother hated me. I don't know why, but her mom really, Maya's mother she hated me. But yeah, so it's never been a complexion thing for me, so I don't want to hear that shit. For me, it's purely an attitude thing. And there are black women out there that have good attitudes. It's just there's very few of them. So that's how that works. And another thing that I've noticed is even when you meet black chicks who they have their attitude is you can deal with it or whatever. Usually what happens is their sisters or their friends, they tend to have the attitude. So anyway, man, this thing went on way too long. I just wanted to give those 10 things rather than say I don't date black women and then I got to hear all this emotional bullshit with no actual arguments, no real points. Now I gave you 10 things. So go ahead and rebuttal my 10 things. Go ahead and disprove my 10 things. Go ahead and tell me in the comments how I'm wrong and I'm bashing women for these 10 things that we all know are provable. We can prove these things. All right, guys? So I'm out of here. Peace.